Hi everyone, this is McBrain from the Zuluhead server, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to play an Arms Warrior in PVE environment. Alright, first we're going to talk about your spec a little bit, and first we'll talk about the pretty much mandatory talents that you need, and then we'll go into a little more of the filler talents that you can take, and these are a little more up to your preference based on your playstyle. Alright, first for arms is War Academy. You need to put 3 points in here. It increases the damage of your Mortal Strike, Raging Blow, Devastate, Victory Rush, and Slam by 15%. Now as arms you'll use Mortal Strike and Slam quite often, so you need that buff. Second is Field Dressing. If you're playing in a raid environment, PvE encounters, at 6% extra healing on yourself is pretty crucial. Not to mention the 20% increase to your self-heal abilities that you have. Next, you'll see here Deep Wounds. Your critical strikes cause the opponent to bleed, dealing 48% of your melee weapon's average damage over 6 seconds. That's a pretty good chunk of damage, so you also want to take that. The next mandatory talent will be Impale, 2 points in there. Impale increases the critical strike chance, or strike damage, of Mortal Strike, Slam, and Overpower, your 3 main abilities as arms. So you definitely want to take that one. Sweeping Strikes, anytime you have any AoE, it's a really good ability. Next will be Taste for Blood. It increases your overpowered critical strike chance by 60%. And in addition, anytime you have Rend on the target, you have a 100% chance to use Overpower for 9 seconds. This occurs every 5 seconds. So that's pretty crucial. It makes Overpower become one of your main abilities in your rotation instead of a proc-based ability. Next, you'll want Improved Slam, which decreases the swing time of Slam by 1 second down to a half-second cast, and it also increases damage by 20%. Deadly Calm is a good cooldown for arms. You'll need to take that as well. Basically what it does is it allows you to build rage while not spending rage for 10 seconds, which is pretty good. We'll talk about that later in our cooldown management section. Next you want to take Blood Frenzy. This is a pretty good raid buff that arms offers to your raid. Your bleed effects, which would be Rend or Deep Wounds, will cause the target to take 4% increased physical damage, which is quite a chunk in a raid setting. Sudden Death, you'll want to take that as well. Your melee hits have a 6% chance of resetting the cooldown on your Colossus match, which is a key ability for arms. It'll also allow you to keep some rage after using Execute, which is good during Execute phases, which are 20% and lower on bosses. Juggernaut, you want to take that so you can use Charge in combat, and it'll also increase your critical strike chance of Slam and Mortal Strike by 25% after a charge. Lambs to the Slaughter, it refreshes your Mortal Strike will refresh the duration of Rend, which is pretty key. You can set it and forget it kinda Rend, because Mortal Strike is a major ability in your rotation. It also increases the damage of all your vital arms abilities by 10%. So, Wrecking Crew, your Mortal Strike critical hits have a chance, 100% chance to enrage you, increasing your physical damage caused by 10% for 12 seconds. That's a no-brainer. Throwdown, some people don't like to take it. I do. This is kind of a choice that you can make. And Blade Storm, which is the bread and butter of the arms spec. Not really one of my favorite abilities, to be honest with you, but it's still pretty nice in the scheme of things. Now, Drums of War is kind of a filler talent. You can put the 2 points here in Drums of War to decrease the rage cost of your pummel, Demoralizing Shout, Intimidating Shout, and Challenging Shout. Or you could put them in Tactical Mastery. since 4.2 stance dancing is not really necessary anymore, I moved the points from Tactical Mastery over to Drums of War. In the Fury tree, the mandatory talents here are Battle Trance and Cruelty. Battle Trance basically gives you a free ability on proc. You'll want to use that on Heroic Strike, since Heroic Strike has the most or the least damage to rage ratio of your abilities. Down here, the second tier is more or less preference. I like Root Interruption. Since I'm melee, I'm on interrupt duty quite often, so increasing my damage by 5% for 30 seconds is pretty good. Now, in the protection tree, Insight is a good ability. It increases your crit chance of Heroic Strike by 15%, and gives your Heroic Strike crits 100% chance for the next Heroic Strike to crit. They can't stack, so it'll reset after you have a crit. Your next Heroic Strike is guaranteed to crit. Some people put 2 points in here, and 1 point over in Executioner. I'm trying something a little different, putting all 3 points in Insight now. For an AoE build, you'd take these points in Insight, and you'd put 2 of them in Blood and Thunder, and you'd have another point to put wherever you wanted, be it Booming Voice, Executioner, or whatever. What Blood and Thunder does is it spreads your Rend to all targets in range of your Thunderclap, which is pretty awesome for AoE. So those are the talents. Now we'll look at some glyphs. For your prime glyphs, you'll want to take the 3 that increase your main abilities. So that would be Glyph of Overpower, increasing the damage of your Overpower by 10%. Glyph of Slam, increasing the crit chance of Slam by 5%. And Glyph of Mortal Strike, increasing the damage of Mortal Strike by 10%. Now here we'll scroll down and look at the major glyphs. For the major glyphs, I like to take, first we'll start with Heroic Throw. Your Heroic Throw applies a stack of Sunder Armor. Usually you'll use Heroic Throw on pull to get that initial stack of Sunder Armor on. That way you don't have to use a global cooldown on a high threat, no damage ability. Next we'll go with Glyph of Colossus Smash. Your Colossus Smash refreshes the duration of Sunder Armor stacks on a target. What it doesn't say here is it also adds a stack of Sunder Armor on the target. So you Heroic Throw and Charge to your target, which applies a stack of Sunder Armor. Your next ability would be Rend, and then shortly after that, immediately after that would be Colossus Smash. And there you go, you instantly have 2 stacks of Sunder Armor with very, very short contact with the target. The next one would be Glyph of Sweeping Strikes. It reduces the rage cost of Sweeping Strikes by 100%, making it free. There aren't very many other options here for an Arms Warrior, so this would be your best bet. Now, your minor glyphs, we'll scroll down and look at them over here on the right too. Minor glyphs are more or less personal preference. I go with Enduring Victory, increasing the window of my Victory Rush, which is good on anything that has adds or anything where you may land a killing blow and have to attack something else almost immediately. Glyph of Battle, it increases duration by 2 minutes in the area of your battle shout by 50%, which is okay if you guys are spread out in a fight and some melee guys need to catch your battle shout, but they're kind of far away. The next one, which is probably the only one I would suggest, as a must-have for minor glyphs, is Glyph of Berserker Rage, which generates 5 rage when you use it. Berserker Rage is off the global cooldown, so it's pretty much a free 5 rage every 30 seconds. And that's the talents and glyph portion of the guide. So next we'll move into gearing and reforging, enchants, and all that good stuff. So along we go to that.